Josh Jacobs, who? Derrick Henry, who? Ravens flock, you know what time it is. We just came off of another dominant win against the Seattle Seahawks. Final score 37-3. This was another game where we went up against the NFC opponent where we just completely destroyed them. And it's mind-blowing to see us pull it off. In the game, I'm not going to say it's surprising, but it's still just mind-blowing to see it because of the fact that we still aren't even at our full capabilities yet. We still have major holes and things that we got to work on, but in these moments, we're still rising to the occasion. So, look, in the game against the Lions and the game against the Seahawks, they have combined for 9 points against us, and we have put up 75 points against them. That just shows you the massive difference in firepower between the NFC and the AFC. It's like it is just mind-blowing. First thing I got to touch on related to this game, y'all know I was going to come back to it. That Gus Edwards video I did is aging masterfully now. I hate to sound so arrogant, but I gotta say it. At the end of the day, Gus didn't even have to do much in this game. Like, he only had 5 carries, but in 5 carries, he had 52 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of those runs was for like a 42-yard gain, which was also the point I was making with some people who had disagreed with me. Where I was saying, look, Gus has shown the ability to break loose. So it's not like he's just simply a power back, but he's also somebody who, when given the chance, can be that big play guy, can be a home run type of guy. And then on top of that, another point I was trying to make was when you look at our running back room as a whole, even though I'm not a big Justice Hill fan, Justice Hill at times still makes big plays. And then Keaton Mitchell showed today that he can be that home run hitter. Keaton Mitchell went crazy in this game. He had it was like, what, 9? It felt like 9 or 10 carries for like 138 yards and a touchdown. He went for like a 40-yard touchdown. Then he went for a 60-yard gain. He was just in the zone. So again, even though the Ravens don't at the moment have what a lot of Ravens fans were considering like some big name running back, like many of us have been saying, this group that we have is more than enough. Way more than enough. And then you got people that try to act like they got love for Gus, but then they still wanted to throw him and the other running backs under the bus before this game happened. And it's poetic justice that the game played out the way that it played out in the running attack this week. What did Gus and Keaton Mitchell, what has Josh Jacobs done this year, or Derrick Henry, or really any major running back? What have they done this year that Gus and Keaton haven't done in this game alone? They got the chance and they rose to the occasion. It was a beautiful thing to see. We didn't really throw for a whole lot of yards. I think Lamar and Tyler Huntley combined threw for like 217, but we still had a very efficient day. Lamar was 21 of 26, completed 80% of his passes, had 187 yards. Tyler Huntley had, I think he was like 4 of 5. Oh, no, excuse me. He was 5 of 7 for 38 yards and then a touchdown. That touchdown that he threw was to Odell. That was Odell's first touchdown as a Raven. It was also his first time catching a touchdown on his birthday, so I know he was really happy to see that. I saw he started hitting the park height strut, so that was definitely like a fun thing to see, just to see how excited everybody was. Mark Andrews had a really solid day, 9 catches, 80 yards. He caught 9 out of 10 targets. He did a pretty good job when it comes to getting yards after the catch. Odell had 5 for 56 and a touchdown. Isaiah Likely, he got some opportunities to play in this game. Most of his catches were like in like garbage time once we were already like at the end of the game, but still he had an impressive catch for like around 17 yards from Lamar early in the game. Rashad Bateman caught a couple catches, 3 for 28. Zay Flowers didn't do much in this game. He had 1 catch for 11 yards, but we didn't like this is what I wanted to see, even though the numbers still aren't matching up to what I think they can be yet. Still, we're still seeing an offense where a lot the ball's being spread around amongst a lot of different people. I mean, even Nelson Aguilar had a catch. Devin Duvernay got a couple plays in this game. Something I was excited to see is some of the like screen passes that they kept force feeding to Zay. They started to sub Devin Duvernay in this game and try to get him involved in some of that. That was exciting to see because again, I even though I like Zay and Zay has shown a lot of flashes of greatness, force feeding him the ball over and over again, especially in that same exact situation, it was stale. It became stale. It was predictable, and it really didn't work that much. It didn't work as well as we would have wanted it to. So I was happy to see that they're starting to try to switch it up and get other people involved in the scheme. Like last week, we saw Rashad Bateman. He took that reversal, like it was like 18 yards last week, and then obviously like Devin Duvernay caught a couple screen passes today. So it was nice to see them start to really incorporate all the different playmakers on the team in plays that they were only using Zay in earlier in the season. But then again, maybe that was the plan all along. Maybe they were trying to use Zay as like I don't want to say like the crash test dummy, but just like as like I guess like almost like the person who they could use to experiment these specific concepts that they want to do and throw defenses off early, later in the season, because the only tape they have of these plays is mostly us using it with just Zay. So now we're getting later in the year and we're throwing out some of these same or similar concepts, but now we're actually getting other guys in. And I think that could throw a lot of defenses off. So I am excited to see that. Also, I almost forgot to mention Gus Edwards in this game. He got 2 touchdowns, obviously, but he also tied Marcus Robinson and Willis McGahee for the most touchdowns by a Ravens running back within a 3-game stretch. Like Gus had 6 touchdowns in the past 3 games. Marcus Robinson did that in 2003, and then also Willis McGahee did that back in 2009. So again, Gus has been really just in the zone. There's just so much adrenaline running through me right now. Like this was tied for the worst loss of Pete Carroll's career. Again, Pete Carroll, he's definitely a coach I respect. I've always only thing I don't respect about Pete Carroll is the fact that they didn't give the ball to beast mode at the 1-yard line in the Super Bowl. But outside of that, he's been one of the better coaches in the NFL. But again, against a very good Seahawks team, just like how we went up against a very good Lions team and just took them behind the shed and put them out of their misery, we did the same thing to a very, very, very good Seahawks team. This was tied for the worst loss of Pete Carroll's career. We beat them by 34 points. And this still wasn't even a perfect game. Like, there's still touchdowns that we left on the table. There was still a couple of drives where we stalled out and we had to settle for a Justin Tucker field goal. So we still got to work. There's still things we got to get better at executing. We still have to worry about execution, even though we're still putting up all these points. So imagine what it's going to look like once we actually start really piecing it together. At the way things are going right now, obviously we're trending in the right direction. But now I'm thinking maybe we're going to really peak around early December, which could work out for our benefit. Because even though we're balling right now, again, I don't think the offense has truly clicked on all cylinders yet. We've had moments where the passing game has like gone crazy. And now, thanks to a game like this, we've had games where the running attack has gone crazy, but it still doesn't feel like there's been games where we've truly reached our full potential. Like, and what I mean by that is, and I think it's coming up soon, but we're going to start seeing games where Lamar's throwing for like 350 to 400 yards, and yet still our running back still ran for like another 150 to 200 yards. Like, we put up in a game where we left points on the board and we left opportunities on the board, we still put up 500 yards against a really good Seahawks defense. This Seahawks team had one of the better passing, no, their passing defense was pretty mid. That's why I actually am surprised we didn't throw for that many yards in this game. But their running defense was one of the main highlights of this team. Like some of their key players like Bobby Wagner and Boye Mafe, like these guys have been going crazy, and we just rushed for more or less 300 yards. I know they took back 2 yards because of we kneeled at the end, but still, basically 300 yards we just put up on one of the better running attacks in the NFL. And then obviously the defense balled out. Owe made some noise today. He got a sack. Kyle Van Noy balled out again today. He got 2 sacks. Justin Madubuike, as always, he balled out. He got a sack. If I'm not mistaken, Jadeveon Clowney, he got like 2 batted passes. Like Geno Stone got another pick. He's running away with the interception, like with he's running away with the lead for most interceptions in the league right now. He's making a serious case for defensive player of the year. He's definitely gonna be either comeback player of the year, or I don't know if there's a most improved player, but he's definitely gonna. At this point, I think he's already sealed his deal when it comes to getting into the Pro Bowl. Now it's a question of if he's going to reach that all-pro level. I think he is at this pace. Why not? Kyle Hamilton made a key pass breakup that almost was a pick too. I mean, Geno almost had another pick later in the game, but it ended up being just a pass breakup. Like, our defense was just lights out. Pat Queen made a couple of key tackles, especially that one tackle where he caught the back. I don't know if that was Kenneth Walker or whoever. He caught them in the backfield. They lost like 3 yards, just wiped out all. You could see the Seahawks at that moment that PQ got that tackle. You saw the life leave their body. You saw the soul and the fight leave their body. The game was over. They knew it was. As far as the downsides to this game, there wasn't much. But again, the fumbles. We're still fumbling at a crazy rate. Ronnie Stanley, I've been trying so hard to defend Ronnie Stanley and wait and be patient and hope that it works out. And Ronnie Stanley keeps selling. He keeps folding over and over and over again. One of the fumbles, I can't remember off the top of my head what happened. I think it was just a bad handoff between Lamar and Justice or whoever. But the main fumble I'm thinking about, Odell fumbled too, actually. So yeah, I wasn't happy to see that either. I don't know why he was holding the ball like that. But the main fumble that bothered me was just that strip sack. Essentially, it wasn't really a sack, but still, basically, it probably is gonna count as one. Like that strip sack that Ronnie Stanley gave up while Lamar was in the middle of a throw. Like it's just game after game. We just keep seeing Ronnie Stanley getting embarrassed. And I don't know how much longer, especially with a team with this much potential, how much longer can you just be patient with Ronnie? He's reaching a point now of struggling where it's like, I assume next week the game plan is gonna be to maybe have somebody come in there and help him, like be prepared to help chip block, just to kind of give him a break or something. Like they got to be something. We still gotta wait and see, but that was really the only thing about this game that really bothered me. That and we also we left. There were a couple of drives that stalled out where we left points on the board. Ideally, I want to see, part of what made that Lions game feel so amazing was this. It felt as if we just scored on every single drive that we took in. And ideally, that's what you want to do, especially in the moments that count the most. Obviously, you don't want to leave points on the board because, again, this teams like the Seahawks, they're good but not great, so they won't take advantage of it. But once we get deeper into the season, especially once we get in the playoffs, there's a good chance we're going to be playing teams that will take advantage of it. But I think it'll all work out. I think we'll do just fine. I mean, when you just go down the stat sheet, like this game was just pure dominance. Like the Seahawks only had 6 first downs the whole game. We had 29. Like the Seahawks, who are a good rushing team, they only had 1 rushing first down. We had 16. We actually didn't get a whole lot of penalties in this game. Like, we only got like 3 penalties. They got, 5. Like, as far as time of possession, we just completely dominated. We had the ball for 40 minutes. Over 40 minutes, we had the ball. So, again, all in all, this was definitely a great win. This is definitely great to lift the spirits of the Ravens flock. But there's still so much more to be desired. I just want to know how you guys are feeling. How you feeling after this game? Who do you think is the star of this game? And how long do you think it'll be before everybody in the NFL has to acknowledge that we are the best team in football? Because with all due respect to the Chiefs, we are clearly better than the Chiefs. If we play the Chiefs today, we're winning that game by 2 scores. Same thing with the Eagles. I don't care what their record is. When you watch them play, we are better than the Eagles. We are better than the Chiefs. We are better than the Niners. We're better than all of these other teams. But again, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below.